What about nature makes you feel curious?
When I have a worry-filled mind, I like to wander outside. No telling what we might find. Birds calling, worms crawling, leaves falling down from above. Oh, I plant my feet on the ground. I keep my head in the clouds. I let my feelings out loud. I hear joy calling, fear crawling, tears falling down out of love.
Welcome, friends. I'm so glad you're here today. My name is Mrs. A, and anytime we have a moment together, I'd like us to think about our feelings. And it's important that we practice identifying and naming our feelings because it actually can help us. It can help our brains and bodies feel more comfortable, and it can also help us get to know each other better and know the people around us better. And so we're going to practice naming our feeling or emotion today. You may be feeling a number of different feelings. Us humans feel so many different things throughout the day or week or even a month. And so I've made a poster here to help us narrow it down. This poster doesn't include every single feeling that a person can feel. There are a lot, but it does include a good mix of them. Some feelings that you might feel if you're in the blue zone, moving slowly. Some feelings that you might feel if you're in the green zone, feeling focused. Some feelings that you might feel when you're in the yellow zone, getting overwhelmed or losing control. And there are also feelings on this poster that you will experience when you're in the red zone, feeling like you've lost control. And so I'm going to zoom in on this poster, and I'm going to ask you to think about your feelings for me, the ones that you're feeling right now. And go ahead and name them, say them out loud. I'll do the same. Did you find your feeling? Let's say it out loud. I'm feeling excited. What are you feeling? Thank you so much for sharing your feelings with me. If you're having trouble identifying those feelings or even reading the name of the feeling, you can always point to it, or you can ask a grown up or someone else nearby to help you understand a bit better. I've had some friends ask me where they can get this poster, and I offer it as a thank you to anybody who signs up on my Patreon. A Patreon is a way that you can support me for any amount of money, $1 or more if you'd like. And as a thank you, I send this feelings poster to you so you can use it anytime you'd like. You can print it out and keep it in a space that works well for you. And we have talked about how it's important to name and identify our feelings and share them with ourselves and the people around us. It's also important for us to know ways that we can make ourselves feel more comfortable, more settled, more focused, like in the green zone. And sometimes for us, that may change. Some days, taking a walk can help us feel more clear-headed or settled or comfortable. Other times, just getting a sip of water can do it. Taking a breath is another great way. And moving our body is also really helpful for many of us. And so I'd like us to look at the date together, and then we'll do some exercises. And hopefully, no matter how you're feeling, these exercises will help not only clear our brains, but also build our muscles and increase our heart rate so we can stay healthy together. So the date today is 4/18/22. And the date may be different for you. That's okay. I just use the date to help us get an idea of how many exercises we should do. But Fig always tells us one of them. Now, they don't tell us with their words. Instead, they tell us with their body. And so we can notice and observe and look at what they're showing us. You can make some guesses. Maybe you know or you think you know the move that Fig is doing. We'll do their move really soon. For now, let's do 4 dance moves. You can do whatever dance moves you'd like. Let's go ahead and get ready to dance. 2, 4. Now you may have noticed when I was dancing, I did not say the numbers 1 or 3. I just said 2 and 4. And if you visited with me before, you know that when we have an even number, we count by 2s. And so I'd like us to look at our next number here, 18. We're going to do 18 of Fig's moves, but before we find out what they are, we need to know, will we be counting by 1s or by 2s? 18 has an 8 in the 1s place. And when we're figuring out if a number is even or odd, we only need to worry about the number in the 1s place. So let's look at the number 8. Do you think it's even? Can it be shared equally? Or is it odd? Right now it looks like it can't be shared equally, but what happens if I move this over here and this over here? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I still have 8. Is it even? Can it be shared equally? It is, yeah, so we'll count by 2s again. And what move should we do, Fig? Oh, marches, awesome. Okay, stand up if you're able and count by 2s as we do 18 marches. Ready? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Awesome job. Thanks for giving that counting by 2s a try if you haven't done it before. If you have practiced and you know it well, I'm so glad that you get to challenge your brain in this way. We're going to do it one more time because the number 22 is also even. And we're going to do 22 arm circles today. You can do these sitting or standing, whatever is best for your body or your space. All you have to do is stick out your arms straight, and we're going to make circles with them. Let's do 22. We'll count by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. Awesome job. Thanks for moving your body with me. Maybe you're feeling like your muscles are warmed up. Maybe you're noticing your heart is beating a bit quickly. Anytime we exercise or move our body, it's really good for us to cool down by taking some deep breaths. And so you'll hear a bell ding, and each time you hear it, I'm going to ask that you fill your belly big and then slowly let the air out. We'll see if we notice our heart slow back down and our bodies feel a little cooler. Let's do it. Thank you so much for building those muscles and cooling down. Now, you may have heard at the beginning of this episode that I was feeling excited, and that is because Earth Day is coming up at the end of the week. Earth Day will happen on Friday, and it's a day where we'll all get to celebrate our Earth and hopefully do something really extra kind for our Earth. And while I was thinking about Earth Day, I was wondering, what are you most interested in or curious about in nature? Maybe you're not so sure. Maybe you haven't thought too much about it. Maybe you have a ton of curiosities and questions and wonders because nature is so big and has so many parts. No matter where you are, or no matter how many curiosities you have, I wanted us to start thinking today about what we might be curious about. And so I have a message that's going to help us get some more ideas, and then I have some incredible stories to share with you. So let's open up our message and see what it says. Dear brilliant and beautiful friends, have you ever noticed all the ways that nature is connected? Have you ever thought about how we are nature and how we're all connected too? The way we experience emotions and feel feelings similar to changing weather. The way we are all unique and curious, similar to other amazing animals. The way things are always at work inside of us, like everything under soil and under water. There are loads of lovely books to help us think about these things, and I'm eager to share some with you today. Hooray! Love, Mrs. A. Now, maybe something I said or read in this message made you think, I wonder this, or I'm curious about that. And so I want to share these books with you that get us thinking about different parts of nature and actually answer some curiosities. Now, this first book gets right to it by helping us answer some wonders that you may have. It is called How to Say Hello to a Worm. It's a first guide to outside, and it's by Kari Percival. And I love this book for friends who are just getting curious about nature. Maybe you haven't spent very much time outside yet. Maybe you haven't spent nearly any time outside in the dirt or digging or looking, and that's okay. This is a great introduction, and I wanted to share some of my favorite pages with you. Maybe you have this question. How do you say hello to a ladybug? Let her crawl onto your finger. Count her spots. Say, hello, ladybug, before she flies away. Do you see any ladybugs on this page? Have you ever gotten a chance to hold a ladybug or count her spots? Have you ever seen so much green? When will the peas sprout? Shh, they're still sleeping. I love that this book is filled with questions and wonders and curiosities. Have you ever seen so much green? When will these peas sprout? Do you think seeds are really asleep? I wonder. How do you say hello to a bee? Look, but don't poke. See the pollen on their feet? Listen, but don't grab. Hear their wings buzzing? If a bee mistakes you for a flower, hold very still and whisper, hello, bee. I wonder, have you ever gotten a visit from a bee? I have. They're one of my most favorite creatures, so I love when they visit me. I've also spotted them on many of the dandelions and many of the first flowers that come up around spring where I am. Have you seen any bees yet? Like I said, this book, How to Say Hello to a Worm, is filled with so many great questions and some answers too. And so I definitely recommend you check this one out if you are curious to know a little bit more about nature and kind of how to get started when you go outside or grow a garden and start to explore. Now, this next book is also kind of like an introduction, and it gives us a big picture idea of the earth. And it makes me wonder some really interesting things. And I'm only going to share a few pages with you. But before I do, I want to let you know that each page is cut in a very special way and has little holes in them so you can see through to some other pages. And I am curious how they made that happen. It is a really beautifully and carefully crafted book. And I'm also really curious if you know about all the things we're going to read about, because even just from reading a few pages, I learned and thought about a lot of new things. And so here I have My Friend Earth. It's written by Patricia McLaughlin, illustrated by Francesca Sena. My Friend Earth. And here you'll notice the page is cut, like I said. My friend Earth wakes from a winter nap. Where you are, do you feel like the earth is starting to wake from a winter nap? Me too. My friend Earth. She tends the prairie where sun-dappled wild horses run through grasses that swish against their legs. Have you ever seen a horse run, or trot, or gallop? There are so many horses on Earth. My friend Earth, she guards all the creatures in all the oceans. The black manta rays sleek like shadows. the shining parrotfish, the tiny krill who swim with millions of other krill to look big, and the whales who are big. Do you see some of the paper cutouts? Do you see some of those animals that we named? Do you know about the animals and creatures in the ocean? There are so many. And as I said, each page is cut out and shaped so beautifully, as are all of these illustrations created with such care. And so I think you should all grab this book for sure, called My Friend Earth, and read about all of the different things that Earth does and provides for us and protects and cares for. And finally, a book that I am just obsessed with, I think it's safe to say, is this incredible collection. I need two hands because it's so big. This incredible collection of poems. It is called Sing a Song of Seasons, and it's a nature poem for each day of the year. That's why it's so thick. There's a poem for every single day. And it's illustrated by Fran Preston Gannon, and so many different people contributed poems to this, so all of the different poems were selected by Fiona Waters. And we're going to read just a few together, but this book is so beautiful in the way that it captures my wonders, my questions, and my curiosities, and sometimes my awe and love for nature. And each day there's a special poem. And so if you haven't seen this book yet, please go check it out at your library or grab it from your bookstore. You can always use the link in my description to get books from your local bookstore. It's a really cool website. And while you're down there, remember to hit that red subscribe button. Let's look at some of these poems from Sing a Song of the Seasons. I wanted to start with a poem from this week. So I'm in the April section, and we'll look at a poem here from April 16th. Voices of Water. The water in the rain says tick, tick, tack. The water in the sleet says slush. The water in the ice says crick, crick, crack. The water in the snow says hush. The water in the sink says slosh, slosh. The water in the tap says drip. The water in the bath says wash, wash. The water in the cup says sip. The water in the pool says splish, splash. The water in the stream says trill. The water in the sea says crish, crash. The water in the pond says still. The water in the soil says sow, sow. The water in the clouds says give. The water in the plant says grow, grow. The water in the world says live. And that's a poem by Tony Mitten. And I just love all of those onomatopoeias or sound words that you heard. I love how they reminded me of each of the types of water. And they were rhyming words as well. So I thought that was super fun. And I want to share one more poem with you from this giant, beautiful book. And it is a poem about something that often makes me curious. And I was wondering if you're curious about it too. This is a poem from March 25th. It says, if you find a little feather. If you find a little feather, a little white feather, a soft and tickly feather, it's for you. A feather is a letter from a bird, and it says, think of me. Do not forget me. Remember me always. Remember me forever. Or remember me, at least, until the little feather is lost. So, if you find a little feather, a little white feather, a soft and tickly feather, it's for you. Pick it up and put it in your pocket. And that's by Beatrice Schenck de Reniers. And the reason I chose that one is because often when I'm out in nature, if I find a feather, I am wondering, what type of bird did this feather come from? How did this feather get here? And so feathers are something I wonder a good bit about. And if you grab this book and read even some of these poems, I'm sure you will have questions and wonders as well. And so I really enjoy how this book sparks my curiosity and makes me think about all of the different seasons and connections and beauty that is in nature. Sorry about that, friends. My camera did something a little strange and I'm not exactly sure why, but I think I've got it fixed now. Before we say goodbye, I'd like us to take a mindful moment. You may have heard earlier when we were talking about our feelings. It's really helpful for us to all have something that can help move us toward the green zone where we're feeling more calm and settled. And mindfulness is a tool that many people, grown-ups and kids alike, have found to be really, really helpful. It often calms our brains and clears our minds. And so we practice a lot of different types of mindfulness together. Today, we're going to practice one that requires us to look with our eyes. And all we're going to do is look around our space or look out our windows and see what signs of nature we can find. Maybe you're going to be wondering about something or having a question. Try to just focus on the signs of nature you see and then save your questions or wonders for after. We'll talk about them a little bit. Let's spend 1 minute looking for those signs of nature. Did you spot any signs of nature? Me too. What did you see? Call it out. Plants, animals, birds, cats, trees, leaves. Awesome. Yeah, I noticed some water and I thought, oh, after reading that poem, I'm curious what sound that water is making. Did you have any wonders as you were noticing? Do you have any now? Being curious and practicing our curiosity is a great way for us to learn and discover new things. It's also a great way for us to feel connected to what we're learning about or asking questions about. So I encourage you to keep asking those questions and keep having those wonders. I want to thank you for spending some time with me today, and I want to send you off with some love if you'd like it, a hug if you want it, and I can't wait to see you next time.